Today we'll be discussing the concept of framing, and specifically, how the photographer's inclusion or exclusion of certain content could potentially mislead the perceptions of the viewing audience. Let's first look at a few different definitions of framing in order to create a framing framework of sorts. Entman, Perry, and Gitlin all emphasize that photographers carefully select content and focus of a photo in order to influence the perceptions of the audience. Audiences are in part led to view these biased frames as reality through the concept of predictive coding, identified by a man actually named J. Davidson Frame. This concept refers to the brain's tendency to fill in information gaps, such as the larger context of a picture. I'll now give some examples to show how these elements can lead to deception in framing. To look at deceptive framing in news photographs, we'll use the simple example of a purse thief. So basically, one person steals the other person's purse, and then a third bystander attempts to go get the purse back. Well, this seems like a pretty straightforward situation. Let's say that photographers got only 2 shots of the scene, and then ran it under the headline, "Area woman steals purse." Now let's say they ran the first photograph, which shows the actual thief taking the purse out of the hands of the victim. In this case, the photograph's frame would more closely reflect reality. However, let's say that they then ran the second photograph underneath the same headline. Now it looks like the person who initially got the purse back is actually the thief. And so that would be a deceptive frame because it would portray a hero as the actual culprit. While this may appear like a silly example, framing actually has been used by news outlets before to make actual victims of crimes appear like the perpetrators. Aside from news outlets, another realm where deceptive framing is running rampant is on social media. In the social media image at the beginning of this video, a girl used the technique of zooming in to frame the image as a glamorous day at the beach, complete with bright colors and high saturation. Predictive coding would lead the audience to assume that if we zoomed out, we would simply see more of the beach landscape. However, when we get the chance to view the context of the whole picture, we see that the chosen frame does not reflect the larger reality. Although it's more of a silly example, it reflects a larger trend of deceptive framing on social media. A recent photo series by Shampoo Baritone captures the deceptive framing on Instagram that many users accept as realistic. One typical Instagram photo features a close-up of a woman clutching a tennis racket at a tennis court. The woman's close-up positioning makes her the clear subject of the photo and makes her look athletic and prepared for a match. If the audience assumes that this close-up framing reflects reality, they would then extrapolate the information they know about the image. They would automatically fill in the cognitive gap of what they don't know through predictive coding, and assume this reflects what is portrayed in the chosen frame. Let's now look at the image context to see if the reality implied by the selected frame actually reflects the reality of the surrounding scene. When we zoom out, it appears that the framed message of the Instagram image, that this woman is involved in tennis, is incompatible with the context of their surroundings. Clearly, as we can now see the 2 tennis players excluded from the frame, this girl is merely standing on the sidelines. The flip-flops on her now visible feet also tell us that she won't be playing anytime soon. We can then infer that in this case, the poster of the fictitious Instagram photo intended to deceive us by excluding elements from the shot and relying on both our trust and on predictive coding. Through her accompanying series of photographs, Baritone hopes to debunk other trends of deceptive framing on social media. Although countless instances of deceptive framing are present in practically every sphere of visual media, the best way to see through them is to examine the surrounding context. It is very important to do this before accepting an image as accurate, as we've now seen how what a frame excludes can be just as important as what it includes.